Speaking of taking things seriously, boy, I pissed off the Simmons family yesterday. I was a little surprised by that. So on yesterday's program, I went over the story at the Titans website that the unbelievable community leader, one of Nashville's greatest philanthropists, Jeffery Simmons, has vowed to donate $980 for every sack he gets this season. Jeffery Simmons' career average is 6.4 sacks per season, which would be a whopping $6,200. That's not nothing. But when you make $18 million a year in cash like Simmons does, according to SpotTrack, that's 0.035% of your income. Simmons also makes over $20,000 a snap. So $6,000 really isn't that big of a deal. So yesterday on the program, I challenged Simmons. I said, hey, bump it up to $9,800 a sack, and I'll donate $6,200 to that initiative right here and right now. And I mean it. Adam Vingan got on my ass about this. He was like, that was so performative because you know you're not going to have to write that check. And then if you do have to write the check, you'll say, see, I convinced Simmons to do the right thing. And the one thing Adam Vingan is right about is I don't think I'm going to have to write that check. I will write it, by the way. But I don't think I'll have to write it. Because, again, I don't think Jeffery Simmons really cares about the kids. I don't think Jeffery Simmons is going to have somebody say to him, hey, dude, that initiative, your $980 a sack, yeah, if you have your career average, that's going to come out to $6,200. Like, maybe let's donate a little bit more money. Let's maybe help these kids out more, make it look genuine. Boy, that did not sit well with the Simmons family. So apparently Simmons has two sisters. I did not know about this. He has two sisters, Brooke and Ashley. Now, normally, I'm a big believer of, hey, you keep the family stuff to the side. That's not my business. When Mike Fisher was on the Predators, I never liked to get too involved in the Carrie Underwood stuff because that's his personal life, not mine. But Twitter is a free forum. And when you tweet me, I think you become part of the story. So today I was made aware of, on my Twitter, somebody, Brooke Simmons, tweeted me. And I did not know Simmons had two sisters. Apparently he does, Brooke and Ashley. So Brooke Simmons sent me a tweet. And that tweet is right up there on your screen right now if you're watching the stream. If you're not, I'll read it out for you. Again, this was from a tweet that I sent in which I said on yesterday's program that his pledge of $980 per sack when he makes $20,000 a snap and averages 6 sacks a season is so phony. He probably paid more in PR for the story than he will for the kids. Again, no lies detected. Brooke Simmons tweets me at 10:46 this morning, quote, at some point, you're going to have to take his penis out your mouth. This man can't even breathe without you creating a storyline. Find someone else to talk about every day. Something so positive, and you make it so damn negative. Give it a break. Something so positive, and I'm just out here making it negative. Well, again, this is the Jeffery Simmons echo chamber he lives in. Simmons surrounds himself by all people who tell him how great he is all the time and how perfect he is. And there's one person in town who every time he puts up some bullshit says, oh, whoa, that's bullshit. This is an example. Simmons comes out with the initiative. The Titans write about it at their website. Look at Jeffery Simmons, this great philanthropist. The Simmons family says, oh, Jeff, you're so great. And I'm like, that's $6,200 for somebody who makes $20,000 a snap. Doesn't seem very philanthropic to me. Seems more like PR. Or When Brian Callahan gets out there and talks about how important this offseason program is going to be for them to be a good football team, and how he spent all year thinking about what went wrong last year and thought, we need to be closer as a team. We need to be closer. We need to be tighter. And then Jeffery Simmons blows it off. I'm like, are you sure your star player really thinks that this offseason program is important? Because he's not going. But that wasn't just it when it came to the Simmons family about take your penis out of his mouth. Because the other sister, Ashley, chimed in. And again, I'm not going to knock it. You're entitled to say whatever you want to say. I used to tell people all the time, if they were mad at me, just go and call my phone. Ashley Simmons says, Jared Stillman definitely mad because he couldn't get a new contract with 1025. It ain't Jeff's fault, buddy. I agree. But she also said, these people got to understand. I'll take it there with them about my MF siblings. Never gave a F about it. Anything Jeff does, here comes these whack-ass reporters dick riding. Leave him alone. It's not your fault. Your career sucks. Again, I don't think Simmons had anything to do with my departure from 1025 The Game. I also think that, as is the case with pretty much everything, you got to call a spade a spade. And when it comes to the Simmons, they don't seem to understand. When Jeffery Simmons blows off the offseason program and then tells everybody he's the greatest leader there ever is, it comes off as hollow. When Jeffery Simmons talks about how great he is and how he's a great player, and then he doesn't sack the quarterback, and he sits there and makes excuses about how I'm double teamed all the time, he comes off as selfish. And when Jeffery Simmons has a charity initiative in which he's pledging to donate what might be 0.035% of his income, and then asking fans to donate on top of it, that's embarrassing. But guess what? It didn't end there. Because apparently Ashley Simmons was fired up. According to her Twitter, yesterday in response to me saying Simmons averages 6.4 sacks a year at $980 per sack. That's $6,200. Simmons makes $18 million in cash, and at 880 snaps, that's over $20,000 a snap. She replied, how much are you going to donate? Why TF are you worried about another man's donation or money? Your wife must really hate you and love black men. You'd have to talk to Lindsay about that. I mean, I don't think she doesn't love me, but maybe she does love Jeffery Simmons. I don't know. But why do I have to bring it up? Because it's bullshit. Like, that's why I have to bring it up. Because it's bullshit. And at the end of the day, it's like, okay, you gotta at least be kind of honest if you're going to come after me. Just got to be a little honest. By the way, she wasn't done. She said, every week, you tweeting about my MF brother. What's phony about it? Your wife must be a huge Jeffery Simmons fan because you keep his name in your mouth and in your tweets. The only phony person is your dumbass. Your career must suck. Your life has to suck. Well, I did lose my dog earlier this week, and that did suck. So if you want to say like, hey, Jared Stillman's life sucks, when it comes to that, yeah, that sucked. Now, that being said, when it was like, well, he's using his money, what about you and your money? Again, I've offered to donate $6,200 today to those kids. If Jeffery Simmons were to step up to the plate and announce that, hey, you know what? I realized $980 really isn't that much money when it comes to what I make and me sacking the quarterback. So let's make it $9,800 per sack. If Simmons did that, that check would be written within 5 minutes. Might just make the donation online. Done. Click. Boom. There you go. Post it. Boom. See ya. But my problem with Simmons is again what I said yesterday. It's the phoniness. It is the phoniness of how he operates. Again, you take Cam Ward fishing, and you take Cam Ward fishing because, hey, he likes fishing. I like fishing. So we're going to just go ahead and bond together. And then you bring the Titans video crew out there and they just show the whole thing. That's fake. In life, when it comes to leadership, people are looking for genuine connections. Not, hey, I'm doing this for the camera. If I had a charity drive, the Stillman and Company, Souls for whatever, when all the cameras were out there, I was kissing babies and shaking hands. And as soon as the cameras went away, I said, beat it, scram, see you guys. Then you would have every right to criticize me. Tom Brady once said to Matt Castle, when Matt Castle ran a play that I guess there was some backside motion to it, and Castle forgot the backside motion, and so he didn't backside motion, and they completed the pass in practice, and Brady ripped his ass. And Castle looked at Brady, and he said, what do you mean? I forgot the motion, I know, but hey, we got to play. Brady goes, if you're going to hold everybody else accountable, you have to be the most accountable. Well, if Jeffery Simmons is going to be a team leader, and he's going to expect everybody else to give their all, then he needs to give his all too. If Jeffery Simmons is going to expect this community to look up to him as an example, then he's going to need to do it. And not just say, oh yeah, I'll donate $980 and $6,000, which is what I poop every 5 minutes because I'm making $18 million in cash. No, it needs to be genuine. It needs to be real. And it's not. And that's what this all goes back to. And the Simmons sisters can be as mad about this as they want to be. They can point the finger at me. My guess is, and Caroline said this to me today, she said, that's probably Simmons like telling them to tweet that. Simmons has actually blocked me. So the sisters are the ones doing the talking. Again, how hard would it be to say, you know what? He's right. Let's do $9,800. Forget about the $980. Nope. Instead, it's the sister saying, your wife must love black men. Which again, maybe she does. I don't know. But it seems kind of defensive. Why are you talking about my brother when he's doing something so positive? Because if you made $100,000 and you wanted to donate the same percentage of your salary that Jeffery Simmons is pledging to donate of his salary, it would be $35. That's why. Just give me a break. Steve says I should donate the money anyways. So I should donate as much money as Jeffery Simmons is planning to donate this year. Do I get a full page at the Titans website if I do that? Again, not that I'm looking for that, but don't you see how it's kind of hollow in that regard? One person says, have some respect for your wife at least. Yeah, I do. You want to know how I'm doing it? By not saying, my wife doesn't like, she loves me. She can speak for herself and what she likes and doesn't like. That to me is the respect that I show her. She's a person who can make her own decisions and stand up for herself. And she's the 2024 reigning Canadian CMA Industry Person of the Year. And next week, Lord willing, she'll be back-to-back champs and the two-time CMA Canadian Industry Person of the Year. There is one thing about the game on Sunday that I guess I'm not surprised by. But at this point, I think even most people are now on my side.